All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound and the 147-pound division at the same time, where Errol Spence Jr. gets confronted by Michel Rivera over comments comparing him, Michel Rivera, to Canelo Alvarez and certain things being swept under the rug. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound and the 135-pound division, having a conversation that is not necessarily pleasant, but funny at the same time to me, because Errol Spence Jr. gets stepped to by Michel Rivera over some comments that he made and called ignorant. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also, if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter to the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really is what allows the channel to go. Thank you for your support in the super chats and the cash apps, and also thank you so much for your support in the super thanks of videos like this, specifically Barbara D, Mr. Pragmatic, Matty Yole, John Boy, Mike Kirkland, and all the cats, Stone Alone, the people that have been doing that. Thank you so much for continuing to support the growth of the channel. So look, this is not a pleasant conversation, but I'm not going to be able to refer, for the sake of guidelines, I'm not going to be able to refer to the actual subject that the problem is. So I'm just going to say enhancements, okay? Because YouTube's real tricky with it. So Errol Spence Jr. is the three-belt holding champion of the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF champion at welterweight. He is also a promoter of Man Down Promotions and represents one of the best lightweights in the world, Frank Martin. Frank Martin recently had a step-up fight against a Dominican fighter that goes by the name of Michel Rivera. Some of y'all may say Michel Rivera Ali because one of the ways that he's been marketed and sold is that he has a passing resemblance to a 1960s Muhammad Ali, right? Around the same skin color, box cut, all of that kind of stuff, right? Now, in the fight that took, very good fighter though, like Michel Rivera as a fighter a lot, definitely was very high on him, still high on him. But when he got in the ring with Frank Martin, it was a one-sided fight in which Frank Martin just beat him pillar to post. Didn't knock him out or anything like that, but just was the clear winner and clearly the better fighter in that fight. Was just quicker, stronger, smarter. Pretty much everything that he needed to do, he got done against Michel Rivera in a big step-up fight, right? Does not make Michel Rivera look bad losing to Frank Martin. Just shows you what kind of fighter Frank Martin is, right? Excellent fighter, also trained by Derek James, just like Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlewar, and now Anthony Joshua. However, after the fight takes place, we got a problem that Michel Rivera, was found to have some enhancements or things that could be enhancements in his system, right? Specifically, some things related to blood pressure. And as a result, he gets suspended and from I think it was Las Vegas that suspended him, right? So woo-wee, big problem for him in that he has, he now has that on his resume, right? And Errol Spence responded. Now, I did a video about Errol Spence Jr.'s response because I liked his response. And his response was, look, if you're going to sweep this under the rug, go ahead and sweep this under the rug for him like you swept it under the rug. And he pulled up a picture of Oscar Valdez, Canelo Alvarez, and Eddie Reynoso, who also have had a record of having people discover enhancements, right? Related to them and related to their to the bouts that they've been in. Now, Michel Rivera responds to that and calls Errol Spence Jr. ignorant and says, ignorant and says that whatever this system was, whatever this thing was that he had, really could have done him some very serious harm, right? And then he says something that mustn't have not translated well in Spanish, like people are always talking junk and goats are always talking junk, and at the same time that they're talking trash, at the same time they're doing something else. Some real kind of, I still don't get what you mean, but pretty much, man, just, talking bad about Errol, talking smack, and you don't know what you're talking about, right? Now, here's the problem. Who cares whether or not he knows what he's talking about or not? Those type of things are something that needs to be taken serious in the sport, okay? And Errol Spence Jr. is the promoter of Frank Martin. You get in the ring with Frank Martin and you are literally have gloves on and you are definitely trying to concuss that man. You are definitely out there throwing them hands at that man. If they discover that there is something that awry in your system, they have the full right to wonder whether or not something is going to be done about it, or whether or not the organization that is responsible for it is going to sweep it under the rug, right? It's not like in the case of Oscar Valdez. When Oscar Valdez got in the ring, I do believe he got in the ring with Conceição. They knew that he had something in his system before he got in the ring with Conceição. Right. But the commission at the time, the state commission said, doesn't violate our rules. Let him go on in there. Let's make the bout out there in Arizona. Right. Look, don't nobody owe you to try to figure out exactly what it is that was going on with you when they have a fighter that you jumped in the ring with something funny that you wasn't supposed to be there. Right. Now, I'm sure Michelle Rivera has an explanation for it. I'm sure he does. Either somebody gave it to him accidentally, I don't know. He visited the Dominican Republic and they have high blood pressure medicine in their, I don't know what a typical meal is, but in some, that the street vendors sprinkled high blood pressure medicine in some type of food that he had down there. I don't know what it is, what your justification could be. However, it is no way, shape, or form ignorant for somebody to point out, look, man, are you going to do something about this, or are you just going to act like it didn't happen? Because that's what has been going on in boxing a lot. It happened with Dillian White. When Dillian White tested positive for something, when he found an enhancement was with him, and he winds up getting in the ring with Oscar Rivas. You see what Eddie Hearn is trying to do with Conor Benn, where Conor Benn had that problem, and Conor 2 times, and the WBC is not gonna, it keeps him in the rankings. Even though the British Boxing Board of Control says we're not going to let you do anything in a ring unless you prove to us what you're saying. And even though they were willing to submit that information, Conor Benn's camp was willing to submit that information to the WBC, apparently they're not willing to do so with the British Boxing Board of Control. So look, man, if something happened, it happened. Right. And if you can justify something happening, I mean, what can you say? At the end of the day, a lot of this stuff that they're doing there, it doesn't seem to me like they're actively trying to keep this stuff out of the sport, or they've given up on the idea that they can, because some of their big dollar guys, that's how they got there. That's how they got to being big dollar guys, is by doing that stuff. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.